Hello, gentlemen. Welcome to the Inner Squid Series, where I'm going to share some concepts about the mental game from some great books that I've read over the years and relate them to the Splatoon experience. My hope is that they'll give you a more efficient way to approach your problems. So let's get into today's topic, the adult learning model, which is from The Mental Game of Poker by Jared Tendler and Barry Carter. Jared Tendler has been a sports psychologist for golfers, poker players, and even Team Liquid for their Counter-Strike team. As an aside, Mr. Tendler didn't invent the adult learning model. He's referencing it in the book, The Mental Game of Poker, which I highly recommend. The adult learning model has 4 phases. 1, unconscious incompetence. 2, conscious incompetence. 3, conscious competence. And 4, unconscious competence. So this describes the journey as you learn something. For example, as you're learning motion controls, first you might be playing around with them, having fun, just learning how it feels and how to use it. This is unconscious incompetence. Next, you try to improve your aim. You become aware of many things that you're missing, certain areas that you're lacking in. This is conscious incompetence. Now, after you practice, you focus on aiming. You can hit things with a good degree of accuracy. As long as you stay focused on aiming, you do well. This is conscious competence. Eventually, you hit the point where you don't have to think about aiming with the controller. You simply do it, and you're fairly accurate. Even in stressful situations where you're focused on things like the objective or any enemy position, you still aim well. This is unconscious competence. These are straightforward, but it's important to lay them out because it's easy to forget that improvement is a process. The meat of this concept for me is found between conscious competence and unconscious competence. Now that's where most of our struggles take place as competitive players. And I found myself being able to focus on something after a few days, getting good at it, having some success. But once I had that success, I decided to move on to something else. And after a few days, I found myself making the same errors I had before. The same things that I thought I had learned, I was slipping in again. The conscious competence was there, but I haven't achieved unconscious competence. It's anyone's guess how long it can take to achieve, that sort of holy grail of learning, unconscious competence. If you're not focused specifically on improving that, it could take even longer. Now, that's why it's so hard to get. It's painful and boring, and to be focused on one thing for weeks, even while you can see glaring weaknesses in other parts of your play, if you try and focus on improving 5 things at once, you end up hurting all of them in the process. So if you find yourself being successful in one aspect of your game, then sliding back after you stop focusing on it, you may not have reached unconscious competence yet. It's not a personal failing. And that's, I think, another big takeaway from this. It's not that you can't get it. You just need to stick with it longer. To me, the biggest takeaway of this concept is that if you try to get anxious and move on too quickly from one step to another, it may seem that you're incapable of learning certain things. But it's simply a matter of taking time to focus on it. Don't overload your brain by trying to improve your aim while working on map awareness and improving your callouts while you're trying to coordinate specials with your teammates. Be intentional and honest about how you're trying to improve and fight the urge to move on too quickly, or you'll find yourself getting frustrated as the thing that you thought you had a handle on slips away from you when you're under pressure. Remember these steps of the adult learning model and take your time to intentionally improve parts of your gameplay. I hope you found this episode of the Inner Squid Series helpful. I've got more planned to help you guys with the sort of mental game. So be sure to subscribe so you can see when I release more of these videos, and share them with people that you think they could help. I'll leave a link to the book, The Mental Game of Poker, in the description. Highly recommend you read it. It's full of good information that's applicable to more than just poker. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you later.